So today we are on unit 5.2, and we are going to work on something. It sounds complicated, but I promise I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Okay, so we are going to work on the triangle exterior angle theorem. The exterior angle theorem. And I know that that sounds complicated. I'm going to break it down for you. Promise. I'm going to break it down for you. So the triangle exterior angle, I can't even say it. The triangle exterior angle theorem says that the measure of an exterior angle is equal to, the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. So let's you write that down, and then we'll kind of break this down and make it a little make sense. Make it make more sense. That didn't make sense how I said that. So the measure of an exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. So a couple vocab words that we just need to make sure that we're clear on. First off, measure is just the value. Okay, we're not going to bust out any tools or anything. You don't have to measure anything. What does the word exterior mean? You can just say it. Outside. The outside. Okay, so the outside, or the outside. There's not a better way to say that. Sorry. So the exterior, and exterior is just like the outside. Opposite means like across from. Okay, and I'll show you in a picture in just a second. And then interior means what? Inside. The inside. Okay, so exterior is outside, interior is inside, just in case you didn't know that. Okay, so for something like, let's start on example number 1. For example number 1, if I give you, I'm going to draw a triangle. Yes, there is supposed to be like a extra part outside. Okay, so a little bit, we're also going to learn how to label triangles today. So I'm going to put a point out here, and I'm going to label it X. And then I'm going to label my triangle. On the left is point T. On the right is point U. And up at the top is point V. So I gave my triangle a name. Okay. Angle T, so if I'm talking about angle T, that means like corner T. So angle T is 50 degrees. And angle U is also 50 degrees. And the actual question that I'm asking is, I would like you to find the measure of angle TVX. The measure of angle TVX. Now, once you have this like vocab stuff down, it's going to be really simple. But when we first start, like, it looks weird and stuff. So angle TVX, to find which angle that is, you literally just like follow the alphabet. So you start at T, go to V, and X. So it's this angle right here. Okay, this angle right there. So if you have a highlighter or a different color or something, just so you're kind of clear on figuring out what we're finding here. Now, according to this exterior angle theorem, the measure of this angle is equal to, inside the triangle, the ones opposite from it. So the measure of this angle is equal to these two added together. So to actually do the math, it's really easy. The setup is the harder part here. So here, the measure of angle TVX is equal to what are the values for the interior angles opposite that. Too complicated. This one equals those two added together. Is that easier? So this outside, the outside of this is equal to the two ones added together. So literally, what numbers am I adding together? 50 and 50. Which is 100. So the measure of angle TVX is equal to 100. That's your answer. Technically, there should be a degree on there, but that's your answer. Okay? Promise. We are going to make this as simple as possible. And I know when you first start, it's like, well, that just looks weird, and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, but it will get easier as we do a little bit more practice. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try, what if I give you a kind of strange looking triangle that I'm going to try to draw. Let's go this one. So our triangle looks semi like that. I'm going to label this outside point an X. They always label the outside point the X. I don't really know why. And then the top is going to be W. The left side is U. And the right side is V. Oh, it would be nice if you could see that. And I told you guys that I was actually ready. I guess I was not quite as put together as I thought I was. Okay, so if I'm going to tell you that angle U is 45 degrees. Angle U is 45 degrees. So think about it. Look at the corner U. Angle U is right inside it. So this is the 45 degrees. Angle V, so over on this side, is 55 degrees. And I'm always going to ask you for that outside angle. Since this was the only one that has the side with the X, this is always the angle that I'm going to ask you for. Okay, so could you guys tell me what is the name of this angle? What's the name? Say it again. VWX. Perfect. Okay, so go from V to W to X. So we're going to label this. Now, you're not going to have to do any like naming of the angles, but I just want you to get in practice. So the measure of angle VWX. And how do I find the measure of that angle?
You should add the interior.
Perfect. You add together the opposite interior angles. So this is equal to these two added together. So literally, I'm just going to add 45 and 55. So the measure of angle VWX is equal to what? 100. I thought I heard 90, and I got scared for a second. So angle VWX. Now, technically, this angle, it could be named two actually different ways. You could go V to W to X, or it could be X to W to V. Doesn't really matter if it's written forwards or backwards. Okay, it's kind of like if I say, my name is Kristen Kuhn, or on a roll sheet, it's Kuhn, comma, Kristen. It's still the same name, it's just written in different order. Okay, still the same thing though. So here, that's your answer. Questions on how I did that? So is it becoming a little bit easier? I hope. Okay, let's try another one. Number 3. How about if I give you, this time we're going to give you a right triangle. Okay, so give you a right triangle. It has an outside point of X. Up at the top is A. On the left is B. On the right is C. This one just has that square in the corner. And then angle A is 35 degrees. Angle A is 35 degrees. Just help me. Angle A is 35 degrees. Wow. Okay. And then for this one, I would like to find the measure of angle ABX. Measure of angle ABX. Measure of angle ABX. So first thing I'm going to do is figure out what exactly you're trying to find. So I'm trying to find A to B to X, so it's this angle right here. Okay, this is the exterior angle, and the exterior angle is equal to the sum, so that means when you add together the two opposite interior angles. Here, what am I missing though?
A 90.
A 90. But you know that since it has a little square in the corner, it's equal to 90. Then all you have to do is add these together. So 35 plus 90 gives you the measure of angle ABX is equal to what?
125.
125. Perfect. Degrees. Sorry. I'm trying to be good about being exact. ABX is equal to 125. Question on how I did that? Other than maybe you can't see it. We're good? So if it's just numbers, are we feeling confident with that? Like that's easy enough? Okay, now, unfortunately, it's not always just numbers, okay? So sometimes you're gonna see ones like this, okay? Sometimes you might see ones that are written like this. So let's draw our triangle again. This is going up here. Okay, draw our triangle. I'm gonna have point X on the outside. And let's see, this one I have an R, a P on the left, and a Q on the right. Here, if I tell you the measure of angle PRX, so PRX, that's going to be in this corner right here, is 2x plus 20. PRX is 2x plus 20. The measure of angle P, so the interior angle P is 75 degrees, and the measure of angle Q is 65 degrees. Now, just because I put in letters here and variables and numbers does not really make this that much more complicated, okay? We still know that this exterior angle is going to be equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles. So that means this is equal to those two added together. You just have to set up an equation. So 2x plus 20 is equal to 75 plus 65. 75 plus 65. Now, can you solve that equation? Yes. Okay, you want to combine things on the right side. So we get 2x plus 20 equals, what's 75 plus 65? 140. Perfect. Now, what am I going to want to move? Do I want to move the numbers or the letters? Move the numbers. So move the 20. So to move the 20, do the inverse operation. So subtract 20 from both sides. That leaves you with 2x equals 140 minus 20 is 120. Then to get the x by itself, divide both sides by 2, and you'll get x equals 60. Now, technically, I wanted you to solve for x. Okay, so actually, some of these questions are going to have two parts, okay? I want you to solve for x, but I also want you to find the measure of that angle. Okay, so here, yes, x equals 60. That's part of your answer. But what's the measure of angle PRX? I want you to do both. I want you to find the measure of the angle and solve for x. How did you do that so fast? How did you know that it was 140 so fast? You can plug in 60 into this. Does anyone see another way? Or you just know that what we just did with all these numbers still applies. The outside is equal to these two added together. And you added, we did that right here, 140. So the measure of angle PRX is equal to 140 degrees. So this one actually had two parts to the question. Two different parts to the question. Questions? We're good on that? Happy? Sort of. Okay, I'm going to do two more and then we'll be done. Okay, so number 5. Okay, for example, number 5. Let's try on this one, then we're going to draw a right triangle. Let it go past a little bit. I'm going to say that the outside point is X. Up at the top is angle T. On the left is angle U. And this is angle, or point V. This is a right triangle, so it has the box in the corner. Angle T is 40 degrees. And angle TVX, so TVX, my exterior angle, is equal to 4x minus 30. That exterior angle is equal to 4x minus 30. And I'm going to ask for 2 different parts here. I want the measure of angle TVX, and I also would like you to solve for what x is equal to. I'm sorry, just in case I didn't make this clear earlier, that just is the abbreviation way to write angle. Sorry if I didn't tell you that. Okay, that's just, it's like the lazy math way of, instead of writing out ANGLE. It's just how we write angle. So, I want to know what's the measure of this angle, and this is that exterior angle, so TVX, so this angle, okay, and I want you to solve for x. So first thing you could do, is actually easier to do the angle first. What is this whole angle equal to? Anyone think they have an answer? What's the measure of angle TVX? What is it equal to? Like a number answer. 130. How did we get 130? You added 40 and 90. Exactly. It is supposed to be that simple. This whole thing is equal to these two added up together. So if you just add these together, you can do that in your head. We know that angle TVX is equal to 130 degrees. Now, I want to actually solve for x. So I know 130 is equal to 4x minus 30, so we're going to set that up as an equation. So 4x minus 30 equals 130. From there, you should be able to solve. So how do I move the 30? Add the 30. Both sides. If we add 30, we're going to get 4x is equal to 160. Then divide both sides by 4. 160 divided by 4 gives us x equals 40. Perfect. So your x is equal to 40, and that's your answer. Okay, one more. This will be the last one. For number 6, draw our triangle. Crazy triangle. Okay, on the outside we have point X. Let's see, up at the top is point J. On the left is K. And on the right is L. Now, this time I'm going to make it a little bit more complicated. Okay, so just a little bit more complicated. Here, the measure of angle JKX, so JKX, so right in here, is x plus 30. The measure of angle J, so angle J, the inside angle J is x minus 40. And the measure of angle L on the inside is x minus 30. So this one's a little bit more complicated because I don't know exactly what the measurements are. But that's okay. So here I'm going to ask you to find what is the value of x as well as the measure of angle JKL. So that's what we're looking for here. Now, this one, since there's not just plain number answers, I can't just add these together to tell what those numbers are. But I can still solve. How can I make an equation?
X minus 40.
Very close. So here we're trying to find this angle. So this exterior angle, so x plus 30, is equal to what? An exterior angle is equal to what? The sum, or the interior, opposite interiors added together. So these are equal to one another. So x plus 30 is equal to the x minus 40 plus the x minus 30. Then we just have to combine like terms. So on this side, there's no like terms. You want to keep them separate for now. So x plus 30. On the right side, you have the x's that you can combine. What's the coefficient in front of the x's, the number in front of the x's?
1.
A 1. So 1x plus another 1x gives you 2x. Then negative 40 and negative 30 gives us what? Negative 70. Do you guys know the song about adding and subtracting positives and negatives? Oh, well then let me teach it to you. I know you want to hear my lovely, ridiculously bad sounding singing voice, so I will sing you a song. It's the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Use your imaginations and pretend that I'm singing well, okay? And this is for when you're adding and subtracting positives and negatives. So it's same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Take the sign of the larger one, then you'll be exact. Clap, clap. Just clap. I got no claps. Sad people. Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay, so this one is going to be same signs, so negative and negative. They're the same signs, so you're adding them together. 40 and 30 gives you 70. Keep the sign, which is negative. That's really all my song was about, but it's helpful at some points, apparently not right now. Okay, for this one, now how do I solve? If I have numbers and letters on both sides, how do I solve? We do want to combine like terms, but they're on opposite sides of this is like my fence. Remember this? I have a fence. How do I move them? I'm going to have to move something, right? I need to get numbers and letters on opposite sides. Which one do you want to move first, the numbers or the letters? You want to move the numbers first? Okay. Which one do you want to move? The 30 or the 70? Usually you want to try to get rid of the negatives if you can, because we don't like to deal with negatives. So to get rid of this negative 70, what do? Add 70 to both sides. So add 70 to both sides. It's going to leave us with x plus 30 and 70 gives you 100 equals 2x. Now, which way do you want to move letters? Should I move them to the left or the right? Now, usually people want to put the number or the letters on the left, and that's fine. But the rule really should be that you always want to move the smaller amount of letters. Okay, so here this is just a 1x, and this has a 2x. So you want to move the smaller amount. If you move the bigger amount, it just gives you negatives, and you'll get the right answer, but you'll end up having to do more steps because you have to divide by negatives. So here we're going to move the 1x, so I'm going to subtract 1x. When you subtract 1x, we get 100 equals 2 minus 1 is 1x. It's not absolutely necessary to write the 1 in front, but if you do, it's fine. So now I know x is equal to 100 degrees, technically. Then, am I done? Not quite. How can I solve for angle JKL? You can plug in, exactly. I know that 100 is equal to x. Take this 100, plug it in for x. And we would get what? 130. Just plug it in for x. So 100 plus 30 gives you 130. Questions on how I did that? And that's going to be the most difficult that you will have to deal with today. Okay, you do have homework or work to do with this. You guys are going to do 5.2 worksheets. Now, technically there is 2 worksheets for 5.2, okay? On the front of your worksheets, in your worksheet packet, it looks like this. On the back, it looks like this. So they're really similar. I would suggest that you do the back first because they're easier, and then do the front because they're a little bit harder. So the ones on the back are just the numbers. Those should be pretty easy. The ones on the front are with the letters, so you actually have to set up equations, but that does not make them difficult. Just means it's a little bit more work. Okay, you guys are only doing the odds, so I think you have like 9 or 10 problems to do for today. Okay, and please let me know if you have any questions. And that's it.